Good afternoon, everyone. This is Nithin Ramachandra from the NR Media, NR Hour, Nithin Sports Rush, back with another episode. We are live on iHeartRadio, Spotify, on all the podcast platforms. And fans, you already know about our Spreaker app on my phone, where you can tune in and ask questions to every guest that we have on the show. But first, before we introduce today's guest, I just want to say I'm sending my prayers and thoughts to all the people in Los Angeles right now. A lot of tragedies going on with the wildfires, and I got some friends and family down there. So please continue donating to the Red Cross and sending prayers and thoughts. So I just want to get that out of the way. But today we have a special treat for you guys. Whoever is a big sports fan, we got the right guest for you here. His name is Ryan Fiterman from Fiterman Sports. He does a lot of authentic memorabilia events with legendary athletes. He started his own business. He has a podcast. He does it all in the sports world, and he's done events with Mike Tyson, Ric Flair, Sylvester Stallone, you name it. Hakeem Olajuwon, Dennis Rodman. He's all over the place, and he's based out of Houston most of the times, but he travels all over the world, and he's a jack of all trades, I would say. And fans, like I said, please tune in. You're in for a special treat. Please put your questions in there too. We'll answer some of your questions if we have time. But Ryan, I just want to say thank you for joining the show, and thank you to your team for being able to set this up and having the time. I know you're a busy man every day, so but thank you for joining. How are you and your family doing?
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. Happy New Year to you and your group. And like you said, extended thoughts and prayers to all of the people in California and LA. Obviously, being in the sports and entertainment industry, we have tons of close friends and clients that are out there. So continued prayers to those people going through this event, and continued gratitude to the first responders that are doing the best they can. Very excited to be here today. I'm excited to jump on your show with you. I know we've been planning this for a while, so thank you for reaching it out. It's a privilege to be on here, and we're excited to see what we get into, and hopefully some of the fans jump on and we can answer some of their questions as well.
Yeah. So before we get to how you started your business, Fiterman Sports, I just want to get your tell our fans what was the experience like with the Jake Paul Tyson fight in Vegas, and talk about that. You guys were over there. I mean, over there, and talk about that process and what was that like for you guys?
Yeah, so obviously that was an unbelievable experience. It was one of the most watched sporting events in the history of sports. It was the largest streaming event. So just to circle back a little bit, so I've represented Mike Tyson for going on 13 years now in the memorabilia and appearance space. So that's been an unbelievable opportunity, not only just for me, but for my company's company's growth and to make a name and reputation for ourselves in the industry. I'm also the only memorabilia company that's done anything with Jake Paul. He did a small car deal a few years ago, but we're the only memorabilia company that's worked with Jake, who's another just phenomenal guy, obviously mega name. So with those two guys coming together to put on one of the largest boxing events and most watched sporting events of all time,
Hmm.
it was an incredible an incredible event to be a part of. We actually had 7 pop-up shops that week in Dallas, 4 of those being inside, Jerry's World or
Yeah.
the Cowboy Stadium. So that was huge exposure for us. We were a corporate partner at that event. We've been a corporate partner of some of Jake Paul's other events. So it was an unbelievable opportunity for us. I had over 30 staff working that event. So it was a lot of work and a big undertaking, but obviously, it was something extremely exciting to be a part of.
Yeah, sorry, I said Vegas. It was in AT&T Stadium. That's what I meant. But yeah. So speaking of it was a long process. It took a while. You guys actually the first time it was a scheduled date, but you something happen and you got to reschedule. But let's talk about the how you guys go about when you guys like all the deals happening, and what's the process for you and your team and in the fighters.
So I wasn't the fight promoter for that event.
Yeah.
So Jake has an unbelievable team called MVP that himself and his agent Nikisa founded and are just totally dominating the boxing world. So in that aspect of things, I wasn't involved in the fight promotion aspect of it. I was simply a memorabilia partner for that event. But obviously working so closely with Tyson for, 13 and a half years, obviously there was a lot that went into it behind the scenes. I was a very, very, very small part of it all. So I can't take too much credit from that. But like I said, there's certain things with Mike that I handle, and then there's some things that the rest of his team handles. And Team Tyson did an outstanding job with this event. And hats off and kudos to Jake Paul's MVP promotions, and then his agent Nikisa is just an absolute genius at what he does. He used to be very high up at UFC. Then him and Jake co-founded MVP, and they're just taking the boxing world by storm. And they've done an unbelievable job. And I'm pretty sure they have some crazy things planned for 2025 with the rumors going around of either Jake fighting Conor McGregor or Jake's brother Logan. So those guys have done some unreal projects, and they're at the top of their game in the boxing world, and kind of reinventing the way things are done, and doing some very innovative things. So they did a great job with the Paul event, and it'll be exciting to see what they do in the future, and to be continue to be a small part of their events.
Wow. Yeah, so tell our fans, when you were a kid, did you get to play any sports growing up, and what got you interested in the sports industry?
So all my life, I was kind of like most people in the collector space, started off with trading cards. So I actually started buying and selling trading cards in second grade. Um, I moved from Chicago to Houston when I was 5. So that I kind of, it was a great time to be a Bulls fan, right? When they're winning,
Yeah.
multiple championships, and Jordan retires and comes back and wins 3 more. So I started my collection on Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls um, in the late 90s. Um, then my basketball card and Jordan collecting led me into the autograph space.
Hmm.
And then fast forward to when I was in high school, I started what's called chasing autographs.
Yeah.
So if you're not familiar with what chasing autographs is, um, you kind of strategically figure out where the celebrities and sports teams will be when they come to a certain city, or what time they arrive at the stadium or the team hotel, etc.
Yeah.
So you kind of strategically plan out when and where the celebrities, will be going in and out, when they'll be going to the stadiums, etc. So when I was like 15, 16, I started chasing autographs, and that got me more involved in the memorabilia space. So that's how things started for me. I played basketball growing up my entire life, so that was kind of my sport. Not only collecting, but playing as a kid. Um, I worked for the basketball team at University of Houston for 2 years, like 2003 to 2005. And then from there, that opened a door for me with the Houston Rockets.
Oh, wow.
So I had what was supposed to be a 3-month internship with them, led into like over a 2-year opportunity in the basketball operations and scouting department. Um, and then from there, I wanted to be an NBA agent, which was obviously the end goal, but obviously extremely challenging to get licensed through the leagues.
Mhm.
4-year degree, a law degree. Take some tests with the different leagues you want to be a part of. In this case, the NBA.
Yeah.
Uh, so I kind of changed up the plan and pivoted a little bit, and decided I wanted to start doing autograph signings. So September 2008, I was working 3 jobs and putting myself through college. I decided I wanted to quit everything
Wow.
and start an autograph company. So I borrowed $4,000 from my dad,
Hmm.
quit 3 jobs, quit college, and just started doing autograph signings.
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
then things kind of grew from there. I had some pretty awesome relationships and opportunities that I took advantage of early on in 2008, 2009, 2010 in Houston. And from there, one thing led to another. And as you and I spoke about before coming on air, that networking and relationships are everything.
Hmm.
And I think people nowadays don't truly understand the importance of keeping your name clean, having a good reputation, and truly just maximizing all possible relationships that you have, and doing the right networking. So I'm sure we'll tap into some other things here shortly. So I'll kind of stop there and let you ask some more questions, and hopefully I can tell some more things here shortly.
Yeah, right now this is amazing. This is the stories that we love on our show. There's the underdog story, and like, I love when people have to work their way up and get to where they want to be. And this is stories we love. And man, what a story so far here. And we are live with Ryan Fiterman from Fiterman Sports. We have our first fan question on my speak wrap here. One of our fans wants to know who out of all the athletes you worked with and all the stars you worked with, they want to know who is the funniest one.
The funniest?
Yeah.
I would have to say there's a tie here. So, as I've stated numerous times, I've been with Tyson for like 14 years, and then rest in peace to our guy Pete Rose, who I worked very closely with and represented for the last 11 years of his life. So, Tyson has his moments where some of them are just truly hysterical, because he has an amazing personality. He's obviously a very unique individual who's amazing to be around, but I would say the best storyteller and the funniest guy of them all, hands down, is Pete Rose.
Oh, wow.
So when he tells his stories, you have to understand that he would hold nothing back. And there some stories are R-rated with some cuss words and whatnot, but Pete Rose has to be hands down the true character and funniest guy that we've ever worked with. So
Oh,
that's a very interesting question. So I appreciate them asking. But Pete Rose's stories never get old. Even if you heard him a handful of times, um, he had one about where, there's a really funny Willie Mays story that's, borderline inappropriate, and a famous Ted Williams story that's a little inappropriate. But if someone wants to look those up, those are hilarious stories that Pete would always tell, that never get old. But hands down, our guy Pete Rose was definitely would brighten any room that he walked in, and he would definitely be in tears laughing before the day was over.
wow. Rest in peace, Pete Rose. And also,
Yes, sir. Who asked that question, and where are they from?
so our friend, his name is Ryan. He's from the New Jersey area where I live. So,
Okay, so Ryan from New Jersey. So shout out to him for watching the show, and thanks for interacting with us. That was a great question.
hey, our fans always ask interesting questions. So get ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm buckled up. I'm sitting down. Let's go. We're all in.
Yeah, so speaking of shows and you've done a lot of shows like CSAS shows or you did one recently with Jordan Alvarez from the Houston Astros. So when you guys do shows like that, tell our fans, talk about what's it like seeing fans show up, seeing their favorite players or their idols or idols that they watch growing up. So what's that like for you and for the player to see fans show up and show the support for you guys?
Sure. So Fiterman Sports does roughly 200-ish public autograph signings a year all over the country. And so what a public autograph signing is when we book a talent, whether it's at our headquarters in Houston or at one of these sports memorabilia conventions across the country. The public signing is where the talent shows up, and they take some time out of their day to do an autograph signing and meet and greet for the fans. And why I'm explaining the public signing is because another part of our industry is private signings, but we can get into that momentarily. But the public signings are very enjoyable because, like you said, we get to take the talent and pair them with the fans and bring them together for a short amount of time, and hopefully, make some people's dreams come true from meeting their favorite player who's playing nowadays, or their favorite wrestler they watched growing up, or pair them with the talent that their parents watched or grandparents watched. So that aspect of our job is very enjoyable in the sense that, for that few seconds that the fans get to meet the talent, that's a moment that we try to create for them that's going to last forever, right? So that's very enjoyable in the aspect of, some of these guys are on TV, some of them are the biggest stars in the world, and they kind of have this untouchable vibe to them in the aspect of, there's some people superheroes on TV, And so to be able to have the ability to pair the talent with the fans is one of the best parts of our jobs. And just seeing people's reactions when, they've waited 20 years to meet a Mike Tyson or a Ric Flair, or this past Saturday in Houston, we had Astros superstar Yordan Alvarez in our shop. So because he's active, you can get your 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old, 10-year-old kids or 10, 12-year-old kids who play baseball and get to meet their idol in person. So those moments are unbelievable. It does take a lot of work behind the scenes, negotiating whether it's with the players or with their agent on putting these events together, but it's something we really enjoy doing. And I have an incredible team here of 20 plus full-time employees.
Wow.
I wouldn't be able to do any of this stuff without them.
Mm.
And everyone kind of has their own special little niche that they work hard at to help facilitate these type of events, whether they are at our home base in Houston or in, different parts of the US or Canada. So that is one of the best parts of the job. And thanks to my awesome team, we do this a few times a month all over the country.
Yeah, you do have an awesome team, and obviously we've been following your page for a while. And like I
I
said,
appreciate that.
you guys put up some amazing content. And we have another fan question for you from Alex. He's from New Jersey also. He wants to know like the process of you guys signing clients to your company. How they want to know the process, how you guys go about recruiting players or other clients to join your company.
Sure. So I've kind of found my niche of specializing in retired legends. So in that aspect of it, it's at times a little bit easier to book them deals or sign them to an exclusive contract. And the reason for that is most retired athletes don't have an active agent anymore. And by active agent and comparing it to players that still play today, most current athletes have an agent that specializes in like their on-field contracts with the
Yeah.
team, and then they have a marketing agent who specializes in finding them revenue, off the court or off the field. So most retired guys don't have an agent anymore.
Yeah.
So if you're connected with them, whether it's doing the research and digging and figuring out how to reach them, finding their assistant, speaking with someone maybe who runs their foundation, or just networking through other athletes, opening the door for you and making that introduction. So it's a little easier with the retired folks because most of the time I'm able to deal with them directly without a middleman. And so the relationship from the beginning is much more authentic because there's no one involved kind of as the mediator or the middle person. You're able to establish the relationship directly with the athlete. And so I think they're able to understand our business a little better, how we operate and the things we specialize in, and what we take pride in is, being organized, being professional, maximizing their time, and going out there and finding deals for them that brings revenue to them post their playing career or fighting careers. But again, dealing with the retired guys is kind of my niche, and working with them directly kind of makes things a lot easier than working with current guys.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, so I'll tell you a great story here. You actually I saw you did some work with Isiah Thomas, a private signing with Isiah Thomas and
Yeah, we got him in about 10 days.
oh
So
wow.
yeah, it'll be our first time to work with Isiah, who's someone who's, you know, thankfully he's very successful financially from his career, and he's still, he's done a lot of executive work in the NBA, and he has a lot of businesses that he's very successful with. So this makes it challenging when guys haven't signed in a long time. And so you really have to sell yourself and pitch to them why they should do an autograph signing with you and why they should work with your company. Obviously, thankfully, I have a great stable of athletes that I can, name drop for lack of a better term. When you get on the phone with Isiah Thomas and I say, I have signed Karl Malone exclusive, who prior to working with my company, he really didn't do an autograph signing for nearly 25 years. I have Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler exclusive for 14 plus years. At the time of working the deal, I just recently signed Oscar Robertson.
Mhm.
Obviously you tell them about your experience with Mike Tyson, Pete Rose. So point being is when you get on the phone with a guy like Isiah, who doesn't necessarily sign often, you have to kind of convince him on why he should be comfortable working with your company, why and how you're going to truly maximize his time. Because these guys have busy schedules.
Yeah.
Isiah is still on NBA TV. He has numerous businesses to run. So a lot of these guys have really insane travel schedules, both for work and for fun. So to get them to trust in you that you do understand how important it is to maximize their time. And then because of, the resume I have and the folks we've worked with in the past,
Yeah.
um, it kind of helps, they let their guard down a little bit because you have, some pretty amazing references. So we are excited to work with Isiah. I think in about 10 or 11 days.
Wow.
So hopefully, after we work with him in the private setting, the goal is to not only make him comfortable with working with our company, but to give us the opportunity to put him in front of the fans in a public autograph signing setting, in 2025 or 2026. So, just because we lock a guy up for a private signing, that doesn't mean, the work is done there or that's our end goal. Our end goal is to maximize the relationship for many years to come and to put them in front of the fans so the fans can meet these guys that necessarily haven't been available for the meet and greets in the past.
Yeah, the reason why I brought him up, I'll tell you a story. So I'm 29 now. So on my 25th birthday, he actually came on my show. Isiah Thomas, his daughter,
Wow.
yeah, his daughter helped me set it up. And he said, okay, and the daughter goes, would you like to have him come on your 25th birthday? I said, yeah, why not? So Isiah Thomas agreed. So he came on the show on the 25th on my 25th birthday. I think I sent you the link, but yeah,
That's incredible.
yeah, he was on my show. So that's why
So
reason.
how long have you been doing this show for?
So I started so for right now it's for 5 years coming going in. So I started during COVID pretty much. Started this business during COVID, and last year I got featured on my own News 12 New Jersey station. So I didn't realize it's gonna take it this far, but it's all like I said, it's all about growing the business and keep
That's incredible. You should be very proud of yourself because, we recently started a podcast, I would say middle of 2024. And on one aspect, I'm super thankful for the guests that I've had on because of my existing relationships, right? And we've had some mega names though. Tyson did my first episode, Pete Rose, Dr. J, Jerry West, Earl Campbell. I've had Ken Golden on, who's, a powerhouse in the industry. I've had some other friends that are agents on, Larry Johnson, Spud Webb, basketball stars of the
yeah.
90s. And I've been fortunate to have some incredible guests on, but it's still quite the challenge to get your podcast or your show up and running and out there to the masses. And it takes a lot of patience and persistence because, you have some mega names and you talk about some cool things, but it doesn't necessarily transition over to, millions of views like we all would
Yeah.
anticipate. So kudos to you for sticking with it until you made it successful. And, now you have an outstanding show. And from just what I'm experiencing, it takes a lot of work to keep it going and kind of keep the positive momentum going when you're putting in all the work and the time and the money, and it's not instantly transitioning to the amount of views that you hope for. So,
Thank you.
good job to you and your team and keep up the good work in that aspect. You're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you. I really appreciate that coming from you. And we have another fan question for you from one of my friends, Travis. Actually, he lives in Florida. So Travis from Florida. He wants to know. He wants to know would Tyson be interested in doing another fight? If he's he just wants to know would Tyson be interested in doing another fight if the right opportunity?
Coming off the last fight, I think, it takes a lot of energy and training and a certain type of mental discipline to prepare for these type of events. Um, Mike was training his butt off, and then obviously out of anyone's control, he had some health issues that postponed the fight from postponed the fight from July to November. And so the fact, it's public information now, but Tyson had some serious surgeries and serious health issues. And there was a point where Mike may have not have made it through. And so for him to not only push through the health issues that were obviously out of his control, but come back and start training all over again and put his body through the type of work, not only mentally, but physically, and then dietary wise, for what goes into training is pretty unbelievable that he essentially went through it all twice
Yeah.
for one fight. And so after this fight with Jake was over, obviously, at the time, he was thankful that he got through it successfully. And a lot of people, yes, like, Jake Paul won, but in
Yeah.
the sense that Mike just had the ability to overcome the obstacles that were thrown at him and to get in the ring and to last 8 rounds at 58 years old is a massive victory in itself.
Yeah.
And there was negative publicity that came from the outcome of that fight. But what people don't understand, what Mike did was nearly impossible, and that he truly did inspire millions across the world from the training to getting into the ring, and fighting all 8 rounds at 58 years old is absolutely unbelievable.
Oh,
Yes, there was a lucrative payday from it. And Mike is one of the most magnificent athletes ever in all of pro sports. So I wouldn't say anything is impossible, and I would say no is no to another fight. I don't think is the answer right now. And I think Mike can do anything that he sets his mind to. So it's just going to matter of if Mike feels like putting his body through that strenuous workout again. And if there is somebody um, that could give him a fair fight, right? Like Jake's a mega star with a mega platform and is doing amazing things for boxing. So if Mike came back in the ring, it would have to be someone that was equal to
him. Yeah.
that level of Mike Tyson. So the short version is no, I don't think there's uh, another fight in the future, but also, never say never, right?
Yeah. So I got to ask you this. Like I said earlier, we're big into family on the show, and for you, what's it been like for you to have your family behind your back from day one, supporting you? Because you have to travel all the time with your business and traveling with clients and your players, and what's that been like for you to have your family behind your back? And just talk about your what's it like been for you yourself, just to have to grow your business, Fiterman Sports, and seeing the growth and just seeing the everybody tuning in and seeing all the stuff. So talk about your family and the growth.
Yeah, it's a great question because I've been with my wife, I think 13 plus years now. And so without her having my back and being as supportive as she is, obviously with me, not having, for lack of a better term, a normal 9 to 5 job. Um, if you do want to be married and have kids, or if you are married with kids, obviously there's lots of challenges with overcoming the schedule and the 24/7 demand that comes with being an entrepreneur, not just necessarily in, the athlete representation space or the memorabilia industry, but there is a lot of there is a lot of perks to being an entrepreneur, but at the same time, like you're never able to clock out. And
Yeah.
so it is an important thing to find a partner that makes sense for you behind the scenes to support you and be your backbone and keep going. Um, because being an entrepreneur, it is a roller coaster, right? There's some days that are unbelievable. There's some days that are full of challenges and obstacles that you have to overcome. You might get a phone call and have to be halfway across the country tomorrow morning. So, shout out to my wife, who's my best friend and my backbone, and has been a huge supporter of me and what I've done and what I'm trying to do. And so it is important to find someone who understands the hours and time and effort that go into, being an entrepreneur. So it's very important to find someone that has your back no matter what.
Yeah.
Obviously now, I have two, or we have two kids together.
Hmm.
So as the kids get older,
Yeah.
right, it's harder to go out of town because they're like, Dad, where are you going? Or what are you doing? Or, aren't you the boss? You make the rules, you can take the day off. But, they have to understand and learn that, the sacrifices you make for work does have a direct reflection on your family. So it's work life balance is very challenging. It's something that you never figure out how to do it perfectly, but you just try to roll with it and figure it out the best you can. But like you said, it's very important to have a family that supports you in any type of entrepreneurial goals that you have. So family is key, and having someone who believes in you is very important.
Maybe one day we can see your kids running the show with you too at Fiterman Sports and have that and seeing them travel with you too with the players. That'd be a
Yes,
good.
absolutely. I would love that. I have two nephews that are teenagers that I'm trying to get involved that have been in and around this environment their whole lives, and my our oldest is 5, and so she's definitely around this sports environment more than most 5-year-olds. And I'm not sure if I want her to take over the company, but we'll see how it goes. And it's definitely interesting, being the owner of the company and having your kids kind of see what goes on through their lens. So we're huge family oriented. A lot of my employees have kids that they bring around to the events. So I just think it's great exposure for them to see and be involved in what we do behind the scenes.
Yeah, so before we let you go, I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you're busy. So before we
Oh,
let
we're
you
good so far.
Oh, you're good? All right.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take one more fan question then here. One of our fans, his name is Derek from Arizona. So he wants to know is it tough for you is it tough going into a private he wants to know, do you have a different mindset going into a private signing or a public different from a public signing? That's what he wants to know.
Yeah, the mindset for the two is totally different. Like we stated earlier in the program, a public signing is an event that you're hosting somewhere and creating for the fans to meet their favorite athlete. The private signing setting is obviously done in private,
Yeah.
but just consists of a lot less logistics and a lot less moving parts than a public signing. The private aspect of it is done in a private setting. The athlete comes in, they sign the agreed upon amount of items.
Mhm.
It's done very quickly in like an assembly line fashion. Um, but it's a lot less stressful and a lot less responsibilities because the public signing aspect of it, we have to worry about security for the event, since we have events where thousands of people come to meet the talent. We have to worry about time crunch, right? So maximizing the athlete's time in the small window that they've given us,
Yeah.
but also focusing on accommodating the fans and making sure that they are walking away with positive memories from the interaction with the talent.
Yeah.
There's a lot of travel that goes involved, whether it's our athletes flying private, whether they're flying on a commercial flight, and then there's delays and canceled flights that we have no control over. You have logistics on the ground of getting your athlete from A to B. We have security teams that kind of that sweep the premises and what's the fastest way to get the athlete in and out, what's the safest thing to do if an issue occurs. So there's a lot more problems that have to be solved before they occur
Yeah.
when we're doing a public event with the talent. And obviously, the bigger the talent, the more issues we have to try to solve. The private setting is, sometimes it's in the athlete's home or the talent's home, like we do Sylvester Stallone at
Yeah.
his home, right? So that's nice and convenient and easy. A lot of times with Tyson, we do private signings,
Hmm.
in his home or close to a home near his residence. And then the public signings, we're flying in our team from different parts of the country. We have big 40-foot trailers that we have driven to our events with our product. So the mindset is totally different. I would say there's a ton more stress that goes into the public autograph signings, but also there's a ton more that you get out of it when you see the fans kind of living their dream moment with the superstars.
Yeah.
But that's a very good question as well. So thank you for him. Thank you to him for watching the show and asking a great question.
Yeah, thank you. And before we let you go, would you like to give any shout outs to anyone on the show, like messages or shout outs?
I would just like to thank all the people that have supported Fiterman Sports since we started in 2008. Obviously, our goal is to continue to grow and to continue to do unique events all over the country. So shout out to the people that have been with us from day one, and hopefully we can acquire more fans and customers over the years, from our different events that we do all over the country. Thank you for the exposure today to have us on your show and get us potentially more people to figure out who Fiterman Sports Houston really is and what we do. And we look forward to meeting fans at our events. We have some things coming up in Tampa next week and West Palm Beach. We're usually in a different city a couple of times